I'm Dave Estrup, Superintendent of the Springfield City School District. Welcome to another segment of Spotlight on Springfield. Today we have a couple of students with us and Deb Housh from the Springfield Museum of Art to talk about a very special program that involves the affiliation of the Springfield Museum of Art with the Smithsonian, and then your willingness to partner with the Springfield City School District to do some pretty incredible things, one of which is right here on display. But let's meet our guests today.
My name is Cassie McLean. I'm a senior at Springfield High School, and I'm most interested in art and science, and I'd like to study biology.
Great, Cassie, welcome.
My name is Will Thompson. I am a junior at Springfield High School, and I'm very interested in mathematics and physics, and I hope to study those in college.
Great, Will.
And
Yep.
I'm Deb Housh from the Springfield Museum of Art. I am the Curator of Education and Exhibitions at the museum, which means I direct our educational programs and I select works of art for exhibit from our collections and regional artists. But most importantly, I get to work with talented students like these who are with us today.
You know, that's a pretty good deal, I just got to tell you. But why don't you tell us about this project, because this was a very special project and gave our students an opportunity that probably not most students have. So Deb, tell us a little about it.
All right, well, I've got this poster with me, so I thought I'd show that. The project is called Youth Capture the Colorful Cosmos. As Dr. Estrup said, the Springfield Museum of Art is a Smithsonian affiliate museum. We're the only Smithsonian affiliate art museum in Ohio, in fact. This means that we have access to some special projects like this one. And when this came down the pike, we just thought we would love to share it with the Springfield City Schools. What we're able to do with Youth Capture the Colorful Cosmos was introduce the kids to astronomy and to art. They were able to use the Smithsonian Harvard Micro Observatory telescopes remotely from their classroom.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that you guys were able to reach out from the classrooms right here at Springfield High School and go where?
Well, I think they could probably tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, what did you guys see, and what equipment did you use?
Well, we used the computers at our classrooms, and we went to a website where, I forget the website's name.
The Micro Observatory.
Micro Observatory, that's right. And we would basically use the telescopes. We would select images or targets out in space that we wanted these telescopes from Harvard to capture, and we were able to essentially access these telescopes and take astronomical pictures, such as this one. Now this one's a picture of the moon, and we also took a lot of other pictures using these telescopes, and we would put them on display, and we'd use some of the software to make them look nice and bolster some characteristics.
So you were controlling Harvard's telescopes,
yes,
through the Smithsonian and your computers at Springfield High School.
Yes, we did.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you downloaded images to create works of art.
Right. I mean,
Exactly.
in fact, they requested these images to be taken by the telescopes, and then those images, once taken, were sent back to the students to their email addresses. Then they were able to access them. And then there's also an element to a software that comes with this program that they could download where they could manipulate the imagery in artistic ways. So that's what Cassie's showing us.
Well, tell us about it, Cassie. Gosh,
We
that's very cool.
Yeah, we were able to use filters to just add some effects and use our artistic abilities to explore and try to manipulate them.
It's a beautiful picture. The colors are incredible. What are we looking at? Obviously, that's pretty easy to identify as our moon. But what's this?
This is a spiral galaxy, the Milky Way.
Wow. And you were able to select the colors and what you filtered out and what you allowed through, and then create this work of art. That's gorgeous. That's a beautiful piece. You know, I'm just amazed at this. You think about this. Well, as you guys were working with this, well, what were you thinking? Like, wow, this is sort of cool, or yeah, well, you know, another day at work, or what?
Yeah, I was really amazed as soon as she mentioned Smithsonian telescopes that we were able to access those. That was pretty amazing. I felt kind of special.
Absolutely.
Well, I certainly was really excited about the idea of being able to use telescopes and just kind of getting a better idea and using technology to that degree of capturing pictures and putting them on display and creating our own exhibit, essentially. And I was really excited about that. I thought that application of technology was really interesting.
Obviously, it's produced some beautiful results. Now, Deb, you mentioned you're the only art museum, the Springfield Art Museum. You're the only art museum in Ohio that has this kind of affiliation with the Smithsonian.
That's
so
right.
this is a rare opportunity for our students here in Springfield and in this area in terms of a joint project. Am I seeing this correctly?
Oh, absolutely. There are some other Smithsonian affiliates with science museums and other focus museums, but we're the only art museum in Ohio that is a Smithsonian affiliate. And so it is a great opportunity, and we're seeing this project hopefully as a pilot of other ways that we can engage the Springfield High School, Springfield City Schools students, other districts in the area too. We don't want to keep it all to ourselves.
Yeah, I just think this is so cool, and I have to tell the two of you, I actually saw your work when I was attending an art opening at the Springfield Museum of Art, and I saw your project hanging down there. So not only is this a great science project, but you were kind enough at the art museum to display this as an exhibit. Why don't you tell us a little about that?
Well, thanks for saying that we were kind to do it, but really it was just a learning opportunity, and that's what we're interested in doing. It's project-based learning. So I have to say, and shout out to my colleague with this project. My partner with this project was Lisa Cunningham. She's a science coach and teacher at Springfield High School, and she really co-taught this with me and managed the science end of it, whereas my specialty, of course, was in the art end of it. And in that role, what I was able to do is work with the students within the museum. So not only did we work in the classroom, but we had several trips over to the museum where the students toured the museum, but more importantly, they really got a chance to investigate, I think on a deep level, what a curator does. How do we create meaning and communicate to our audiences in the format of a gallery exhibit? And so they analyzed that, and then they created their own gallery exhibit.
Sounds like a little career education, a little science education, a little art education.
That's right.
But you've touched on something that's very near and dear to us in Springfield as we move forward. One of the things we're focusing on is more project-based learning. Because as we know, the research is very, very clear on this. Project-based learning, hands-on learning, learning that's applied, goes down deeper into our brains and stays longer, and we remember longer periods of time. So applying the skills that we're learning, applying this knowledge, producing the kinds of things that you're producing is a great way to learn. And the other thing is, obviously we want you to be prepared as you leave high school to go out and deal with the technology that you will have available that right now we can't even imagine what you'll be using 10 or 15 years from now. But you guys are using it now and using it to produce beautiful pieces of artwork, to expand your horizons in science. And that's part of what we're after too. Using technology, making sure that you know how to use it and are equipped to use it to produce great pieces of work.
Well, not only did they create the images that you see here, but they also worked on some interactive elements to their exhibit.
Tell us about that, please.
Well, I think Will should tell
Let
us a little bit
tell us?
because
Okay.
he worked
Please.
on one of our sections about spectroscopy. So I think he can illustrate some of those
I'm not
ideas
even
in
sure I can
science.
say that word. What's the word again?
Spectroscopy.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead, please.
So one of the elements of this project that I really enjoyed was spectroscopy. And spectroscopy is a branch of science that deals with light. and using instruments to capture that light and look at light as a source of obtaining information. And to kind of make our exhibit you know, a little more interactive and to add to what we like to do, I wanted to make something that was kind of more hands-on, that you could visualize. And I created a light box. I made a cardboard box. I used frames, wooden frames. I used cardboard. I used foam slabs, and I spray painted all black. I made this this nice box, and I used some PVC pipes, and I mounted a flashlight, and then I put a prism, and the flashlight would go through the prism, and it would diffract all the light. And it would split the light up into all its different components like a rainbow. And it can kind of show the audience about how light is made up of all different things and how we can bend light and change light and learn from that.
You did all of that?
Yes.
You bent it?
It was
You
very
divided it?
self-directed too. I
Yes.
mean, we introduced some of these concepts, but then they started to take the ball and run with it.
Well, and that, again, applicational learning, the chance to explore and dig into this a little bit and learn a little more. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun building it.
And you know, Will talked about the audience for this, and I wondered if maybe Cassie could talk to that a little bit more, because we had some interactions with some 5th graders with this, didn't
Oh,
we?
yeah. So how'd that work out for you?
Well, we started with our first meeting was we were trying to focus and figure out on what we wanted to learn about and what we wanted to teach our audience. And we thought it'd be best to first target who we wanted our audience to be. And we decided about 5th graders would be a good aim.
Because there's a push in science about that time. Yeah,
But we
that's
still
good.
wanted to
Okay.
be able to expand it to all ages and all people. And then we decided to actually interact with some 5th graders. So we decided to walk over to Simon Kenton one day, and we met with them and asked them what they wanted to learn about, what they already knew, and what they were interested in. And from that meeting, we kind of gathered that we wanted to focus on what the universe is made of and focus on our solar system and the size and kind of get a perspective on those
So
topics.
as a senior at Springfield High School, how did that work out interacting with the 5th graders at Simon Kenton?
It was actually really fun.
Really?
And
Okay.
seeing what they were interested in and kind of remembering at what I was like at that age and kind of working backwards a little bit.
Now, were they ahead or behind where you were in 5th grade?
About the same.
About the
but
same. All right. Okay.
Very inquisitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
They generally are. They've got
Mhm.
lots of questions and they want to learn more, and that's what we're all about. So, you enjoyed it?
It was a good experience.
Well, okay.
And well, first we spoke to them generally as an
Yes.
entire class, and then we kind of broke off into groups and focused in smaller groups and got to interact with them a little more. And that was I'm glad we did that.
Yeah,
able to-
because I bet they loosened up a little bit as opposed to the big group. So, of this whole experience, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. First one is, what's the most important thing or things that you learned? And then the second question is, what was the most fun to do? But let's do the learning first. What were the most important things out of everything that you got to do connected with this? What was the most important things you learned?
Well, I think teamwork kind of was a really important thing, and bringing all our ideas together and learning how to work as a team and designate different duties to each person and work together.
You know, that's incredible, because one of the things that we consistently hear from business people and from colleges and universities is the importance of our students understanding the importance of working in teams. A lot of business is done today using teams. I know that's true at the Arts Center.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just look at this. This is a team effort here. You know, when we reached
Exactly.
out to the schools, it's more frequently than not, we're working through collaborations in my professional work. So if you guys don't have exposure to that, I don't know that you'll be prepared. And yet they take to it so quickly. I think it is becoming so ingrained in the processes in the classrooms there at the high school. So
That's a very important life lesson, and I'm pleased that you got another opportunity to explore it again by applying those skills. Here, we work in teams in the school district. The idea of the teacher alone in front of the classroom is giving way to teachers working in teams, working together, working collaboratively, just like in the art museum.
Cross disciplines.
Cross disciplines, so it's not just math or then social studies. Maybe we put the two together in a project-based learning environment. So I'm delighted to hear that. Will, what was most important learning for you?
Well, I really enjoyed, science has always been more what I was oriented towards, and I really enjoyed science, and I really thought that joining the two disciplines, using art and things like that to represent science, and I thought that was really interesting, and I also just learned more about art as a, as an activity and as a profession.
Had you ever connected those two before?
Well, as scientists, I know they always use instruments and they use images and things like that to study, but I think this program really took that deeper, and I really got to learn more about art, more to the pure sense of art and representing things, and I thought that was really interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, I have to say, Will was a little bit of a reluctant artist early in the project,
Yes.
but then, I mean, as evidenced, I think, too, in the project he was describing with the box that he created, I mean, there was a tremendous amount of craftsmanship that went into that as well, and so I think, that demonstrated the, the artistic expectation to present in a museum setting. It raised the bar, and, he came through with flying colors on that.
So Deb, as sort of the coordinator of this, the facilitator of it, what did you learn?
Well, as we're talking here, and I'm, just thinking about the project-based learning concept that we were, that you were illustrating here with the project, is I think I was able to apply what I've been, learning, and I believe in this concept of project-based learning. But as teachers, there's a lot of learning for us too. It's sometimes a very different style of instruction than what we're used to. So, I mean, this project provided the student voice and choice, the collaboration, as we talked about, 21st century learning skills with the technology. And then there was these evolving objectives. And I think that as we got into this project, we started to refine where we were going with it and what needed to be done. The project showed us what the next steps were. So I wanted to bring up that we've decided to extend the project to other students and to other classrooms through what we're calling the 5th grade Space Challenge.
5th grade Space Challenge.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about
All right.
that. How does that work?
Well, of course, that was inspired by their trip
Their
to
work
Simon
with Simon
Kenton.
Kenton. Okay.
And our realization that 5th grade is where they're really hitting some of these standards around space. Of course, it is also available to middle school. It could be applicable or a little bit younger, but we kind of focused on 5th grade. And with the 5th grade Space Challenge, really it's an online learning opportunity. If you go to our website at the museum.
And Dennis, would you put this up on the screen for us, please? Deb, that website address again?
www.springfieldmuseum.net.
Okay.
And what we're able to do is you want to click on the Learn tab, and underneath there you'll see the 5th grade Space Challenge. And the Smithsonian Harvard Micro Observatory site that the kids were talking about, teachers can access that. They might want to do a little bit of learning on their own, just play around with that, but it's really very accessible. They can present that then to their students, and there are some instructional sheets right there on that website. At the museum website under the Learn tab that would take them through the steps of using the micro observatory, downloading the software that would allow them to make the design choices and the
Now, can parents or students themselves use this?
they certainly can.
So
right.
you don't have to wait on a teacher to say, let's do it. Can you give me that website address again?
www.springfieldart.museum. It's www.springfieldart.museum.
Okay. Because we want to make sure that people have the opportunity to get to that website, get some sense of what the work that the two of you did, but this opportunity that not many in this state are having right now. So I get back to my next question. What was the most fun? Of all the things that you did, what was the most fun part of the project?
Well, I really liked, well, we've really focused on the scientific aspect of it and kind of digging into what we wanted to learn and study. And then I kind of didn't really expect to get into the real art process of it. And one day we went to the museum and we were learning on how everything comes together and the duties Deb has as a curator and the kind of process she has to go through to put everything together at the museum, and kind of seeing like a behind the scenes kind of view.
How this all works.
At the
Yeah,
museum.
that's always cool to see. Yeah.
I certainly think that the most fun part was everything coming together at the end, and displaying everything and seeing the whole project come together at the very end. And I just thought that was really cool to see everyone's great work, and just see everything, and being able to convey, teach other people what I thought was cool, share with everyone else in the community what I thought was cool and how I liked the program. And I certainly think that was a fun part.
I will tell you, the night I was in attendance and saw your work, everybody thought it was cool. I mean, they just, wow, this, what? This came, they thought it came from the observatory at Wittenberg. I mean, they were just amazed. This work had been done by students from Springfield High School in partnership with the museum and through the facilities of Smithsonian and Harvard.
Right.
Deb, what was the most fun for you?
Well, I probably have to tag on to what Will was saying. So we had a reception, and the students put that on, and they, dressed up, and they presented themselves very professionally, and they were able to speak to community members who came to check out the exhibit. But there have been several other receptions and events and programs at the museum, and every one of those brings new visitors through that space. So, I hope you guys are realizing that hundreds more people are seeing it. Also, some student groups have come through, and so we've got field trips to the museum that we're, able to then bring these younger students to see the work that high school students are doing. And I think that the mentoring and modeling that's inherent in that is so exciting.
Yeah.
In addition to the rest of the museum, which we get to expose them to, these are real tangible big kids that they can look up to and imagine doing something like this.
Well, combining two subjects that maybe normally you wouldn't think of putting together.
Right.
How long is the exhibit going to remain at the museum?
The exhibit will be up through February 27th. But again, with the 5th grade space challenge and our decision to extend it, part of that is that if there were classroom groups who do choose to take the space challenge and use the micro observatory, download the software, and make some images, they can bring those to us at the museum.
Oh.
And we're actually going to create a secondary exhibit or display of these new works that might be coming in from some of these other partnering groups.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, if folks don't know where the museum is, can you give us the address?
Yes.
And tell us how to get there?
It's 107 Cliff Park Road.
That's down there where the Summer Arts Festival is.
Exactly, and I think that's probably the best reference point for everybody. Veterans Memorial Park, it's right there on the same road, kind of around the bend, just the south end of Wittenberg University.
So it's just immediately west of Fountain.
That's right.
Along Cliff Park Road there where we have the Summer Arts Festival.
That's it.
All right, and folks are welcome to come there and take a look at is there a charge to see the students' work?
This exhibit is in our beach gallery. Our beach gallery is our community gallery, and it's always free to everyone all the time.
So you can come look at the fine work these young people did for
right.
free.
Absolutely.
And get a sense. There is much more work. In fact, we have one here in front. The work is beautiful, and you guys should be very proud. I hope you're very proud of not only the artwork that you've done, but the work you've done with the 5th graders, opening up their eyes and giving them opportunities, and others in our community opportunity to do something that not many in Ohio are getting to do. So thank you very much for taking the lead in this. And Deb, thank you and the Springfield Art Museum for the leadership you're showing and the willingness to partner with us and provide so many more opportunities for our students in Springfield. I want to thank you and Ann Fortescue, the director, for your willingness and desire to work with us. It's a great partnership, and we're looking forward to many more opportunities for our students coming from the Springfield Art Museum.
Well,
Anything
our
you would
pleasure.
like to say in closing, or?
Oh, just, I mean, it's our pleasure to work with the students. It's, you know, inherent in our mission to explore these kinds of educational opportunities. It's their museum, it's your museum. It's the Springfield Museum of Art. And so we want to do things that really resonate with, you know, the kids here, the adults, everybody's welcome. It's a hop-in place these days.
Absolutely. Well, we hope you visit, and thank you for tuning in to another segment of Spotlight on Springfield. Great job, guys.